and the power of the agents. How do you make them autonomous, but also within control? Have like measures in place to make sure they don't go off rail and drive things off cliff, right?
You've got to have some like artistic talent and be like a singer, songwriter, dancer, or you've got to be a plumber. Like there's no white collar jobs that are left.
Are the people putting their money on this right? How do you guys think about this? What is your favorite model? What's the best AI at the end of the year? Welcome back to AI Supercycle, our premier AI show, airing every single week, presented by Near. We cover the ins and outs of decentralized AI, privacy, and the future of this massive technology.
Near is the blockchain for AI and the execution of AI native apps. You can check out Near's latest AI product at near.ai. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
All right, guys, welcome back to episode number 14 of AI Supercycle, powered by Near, our friends over there with their private AI chat product they recently launched. Absolutely epic, as well as some other really cool features in their latest launches with Near Intense too. So stoked to have them as our partner for what I think is going to be one of the best episodes of the year. Here we have Pei Chen. We're going to do a 2025 AI year in review live on Roll Up TV. Pei, it's good to have you on. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me, Andy. Nice to be here.
For sure. Rob's here as well. Obviously, no cam. Shout out to Rob for making it happen today.
Good to see you, Pei.
Good to see you, Robin.
Thanks for being here. Yeah, I'm excited. I think you have a very unique and interesting perspective on the market in general, but also with AI. So very, very excited to talk about everything that has happened this year in AI.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Let's kick off with your role, CEO of the Theoriq Foundation. Huge week for you guys. Token launch, TGE, tons of community initiatives, just a lot of stuff happening. What is your role with this company? How is this week? Give us the intro, and then let's kick this off.
Yeah, definitely. So hi, everyone. I'm Pei. I'm the CEO and Executive Director of Theoriq Foundation. So on a day-to-day basis, I oversee the commercial side of things, managing the foundation, very involved, and did a lot of work along the way, leading up to the TGE of THQ. So we went TGE on Tuesday and December 16th, and it's been nonstop since then. Obviously, the market is super challenging, and as a company that is super focused on building the actual tech and the product, there's a lot to prove, right? And we are just trying to kind of keep our heads down and get through the TGE and now look at the stack where we are. But prior to the TGE, we already launched the Alpha Vault, which is AI managed DeFi vault focused on ETH growth strategy. It's a very unique product that it has a AI layer and also it has vault of vaults infrastructure, which means under the main vault, there's different strategies. We are able to work with both human and agent curators of strategies and making it just more fun. So I think, we can get started and can talk a little bit more about that.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess just a couple quick things to clear up for our audience. You guys frame this company as an intelligence layer. Kind of walk us through exactly how you guys are using AI today. I know you guys are doing policy cages. You have this Alpha Swarm product. Talk to us just a bit more clearly about what the unlock is with your product stack using AI, and just kind of, what exactly is happening under the hood. I know there's a lot, so just kind of a high level overview, it would be great.
Yeah, so you mentioned like the policy cage, which is essentially programmable guardrails that we put in place, right, to define exactly what AI agents can do and cannot do. So we think like we're not trying to limit the AI here. Like the brains is still there, but we wanted to kind of limit the what actual things that the AI can touch and handle and control. Primarily, the reason for that is to keep everything that's like stay safe, right? So let's say on-chain capital, the key management stuff around that, and when the agents can sign transactions, all of that is super, super sensitive and important to get right from the get-go. So it's kind of trying to use analogies like if you have a very well-oiled and high-performance car and you want it to be running as fast as possible, but you do want to define the track where the car runs on. So you want to lock them into a safe track And that's kind of like how we want to think about when designing the product with AI at the center. But just going back to like generally what we're building as like an intelligence layer, it's essentially is thinking about that we're Theoriq is unique because it's building not just like one product, but it's building a stack, right? The stack has like the top layer of the AI, we call it alpha protocol. It's essentially is agent to agent communication and coordination layer. So it allows agents to register, discover each other, and communicate and coordinate, pay each other, all the basic functions that you will see in economy, right? And the second, it's almost like a layer one, but we're not really a blockchain.
Yeah.
And in the middle is the alpha swarm, which is kind of what you're referring to as the intelligence layer, right? That's really important because those are multiple modular. It's like a modular agent swarm, but has multiple agents that super specialize in different areas. So we use training those agents, making sure each one of them is particularly strong at doing what they do. So for instance, there's a policy agent understanding all the rules. There's execution agents super fast on-chain execution, automation. There is the knowledge agent that can grasp everything about a project, a token, a product, a use case, a DeFi protocol, a platform, right? Like all the knowledge-specific agents can come together. So the intelligence layer is really describing the alpha swarm layer, where the swarm of agents can come together and complete very complex tasks, like providing liquidities to different DEX pools across different chains or different platforms, and being able to find the best yield in a specific asset like ETH or BTC or stablecoin.
Love it.
And they're able to do it simultaneous at once. So there's no single point of failure, because it's very scary to think about December 2024, we got a lot of trader agents, singular agents that issue their own tokens and say, hey, please park your capital with us. We'll make you the best yield, right? And when the agent goes down, or the chat GPT, like AI chat interface goes down, you're done, right? That there's no accountability built into that.
Well, I think that's super important here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this kind of guardrails, it's almost compliance, but it's like this guardrails, this really safety, security focused mindset towards the evolution of this technology. It is, and to do that enforceably, verifiably in terms of commitment schemes on chain, it's a really good match. It's a really good match made in technology heaven, which is really nerdy, but I think that's it's a good application. And when we zoom out and look at some of the stuff that happened this year, as we kind of roll into this year in review, the agents are just getting better. OpenAI launched GPT-5 over the summer. It's at the time its strongest AI model. Now we've got 5.1, I believe, or 5.2, and you double check. There's tons of improvements. 256,000 token context windows. You can read and process entire books, articles, conversations. You had these huge generative AI to transform operations of government with ELSA and Intact. Microsoft had this Project Ire. So just kind of giving you guys a bit of a sense of how much actual innovation happened this year in the category. So as we kind of zoom out of crypto AI, zoom out of kind of the intricacies here and look at to what happened, I guess let's just start this off. Robbie, Pei, what is a couple words or a phrase or a sentence that you would use to describe 2025 in AI? I can give it a shot first. I would just say extraordinary in terms of growth, right? How would you describe the evolution of AI in 2025? And then let's get into some of the specific events, prediction markets, and more. Rob, I'll pass it to you actually first if you have something to add there, and then let's go to Pei.
It's difficult to sum up in entirely in one word. I almost want to use two words, one to describe the first half of 2025, and then one to describe the second half. The first half felt pretty groundbreaking as we, took a lot of the machine learning, a lot of the deep neural network math that was used, but it finally became tangible. Maybe that's an even better word. Is finally LLMs became tangible in the first half of 2025. And that's when we got LLMs, and that's when they started to do things on chain, and a lot of that was really exciting. these things have gotten a lot more usable and a lot more they've gotten a lot more context, and I think they're a lot more believable and useful and effective. The second half of 2025 is when I think we got much more incremental returns on the performance of these things. I guess I would probably use a word like integrated. The second half of 2025, I didn't see a lot of model improvement. I don't think these things got drastically better with each of the releases. We saw that in ChatGPT 5. It sort of fell short of expectations. 5.1, 5.2. These things are just very minor increases in the performance. But what I do think was what I think happened more so in the second half of this year was that we started to get these AI products integrated into the existing apps and systems that we use on a day-to-day basis. We saw Gmail like now has actual AI responses baked into it. One click and it's actually pretty good. You see this in Google Sheets. You see this across the entire Google suite. We're replacing search across the board. So I think the first half of 25 had drastic improvement in the models. The second half, we're starting to make improvements in the UX, and we're starting to bring them more, or make them more integrated into our everyday systems. Those would be my two words: groundbreaking and integrated. Hey, I'm curious. I'll kick it over to you. What do you think if you were to come up with a word or two to describe this year in AI?
I definitely echo what you said, Robbie. Like all of this, it feels like a much closer in reality. I think I would use the word that this year we witnessed AI going from capability to operational reality or operationalization, right? So you start seeing large enterprises and companies are putting AI in front of the audience, the users. They're stepping to demos. They're showing up at workplaces. They're handling much more aggressively and directly with customers and doing research, writing codes, and managing even now like capital, right? So they're really coming into operations. So the second point is now how do you address the trust issue? Because capability-wise, AI can do all the stuff, but are they reliable? Can we trust them? How much capital can you put with them and other information and data, right? So I think you start seeing the focus of the question start shifting from can they do it to like, should we trust them doing it? And from my corner of world, we're just so focused on the niche of AI and crypto intersection, which is where I think the agentic AI is being mostly discussed, right? Like we're now Web2 SaaS company trying to bring AI into the product and day-to-day and automating things, but we really think of AI as agentic individual, like an economic actor. So I think it is where actually I think you start seeing this year more of a kind of the rise of agents and autonomous agents is now becoming a real thing. So yeah, so like we have a lot of kind of definition or work around how do we define the scope and the power of the agents, how do you make them autonomous but also within control, have like measures in place to make sure they don't go off rail and drive things off cliff, right? The final thing I would say is, this is just like where I feel like AI is now meeting the real economy, having them managing capital, coordinating resources, writing legal contracts and negotiating everything, right? This is where you move the economy from software based to AI and economic agents based economy. So it's super exciting.
We're
I think
doomed.
I think we're being replaced in certain areas, but it's for good reasons.
Just something to add real quick there. I saw this tweet from CL207, the OG cat on crypto Twitter. He's like, I'm getting bullish on Amazon 2026. And I'm like, I go down and I start to read why. And he's like, why? Because I think that Amazon's going to put out a release saying we're going to replace half of our employees with drones and robots by September. And then their margins are going to look a lot better. Rob, did you have something to add?
I mean, just on that, I think hardware and robotics are very intertwined with the AI rise as well. And I think that's when a lot of this and efficiency and a lot of these new things start to get unlocked when we when we use AI as the software in a robot's brain, if you will, and then you get the best of both worlds. But I wanted to ask Pei a question actually, because we've seen how difficult it is to bootstrap liquidity in DeFi, and Theoriq is kind of out this cross section of DeFi and AI. And something actually occurred, just a quick tangent here, is that something occurred in my mind, like prediction markets are becoming very, very popular. There's a lot more teams that are building on these prediction markets, but it's very, very difficult to bootstrap your own markets, just like it's very difficult to bootstrap your own DeFi markets. And so I wanted to ask Pei, are you guys looking to generate liquidity in your own smart contracts, kind of rise that through, or are you guys mostly focused on, look, we're gonna be like an aggregator or a portal, if you will, to existing DeFi apps. We're going to allow you to deposit in those, and we're going to provide some of the AI capabilities to coordinate amongst those apps. That's I do think that there's kind of a distribution play and then there's a tech play. I was curious which side you're taking.
It's spot on. The interesting context here is that we start with a letter. We really wanted to kind of just like dive deep into agent being the best alpha generator of the entire industry. Like, forget about, I'm not calling names, right? Forget about like Math Edge and all the RE7s, right? Out there, like, we want agents to be the curator and the generator of the strategies. So that was actually when we started building Alpha Vault. We really thought about the first move would be doing this hedge LP strategy vault curated by agents purely. And we actually used AI to do all the back testing work and prove that very substantial amount of alpha can be easily generated in a very small amount of TVL. Let's say like 25 million can generate like 25% of that as an alpha very easily as AI. But when it comes back
to— That's a crazy claim. 25% returns, like, or alpha on $25 million is just easy for this AI? That's
you can really deploy that agents and fully trust it to do, right? That's back testing. And
I'm not giving any agents my private keys, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you can manage the key though.
There you go. There we go.
Or at least be a majority signer. Okay. So we thought about that, and then there's a bunch of obviously like complexities going into that. You need to if it's ETH, growth strategy, you need to constantly hedge, so you arrive at delta neutral in ETH terms. ETH is falling in this market, so that is not, even if you're like a super maxi of ETH, you have some concern for like accumulating ETH, right? So I mean, based on like kind of market conditions, we did a lot of pack testing. We know it can be done. This is something we're going to build in Q1 2026. But we decided to, before the TG, we decided to take the second round, which is what Robbie described as an aggregation layer or distribution play, which is essentially why we did the allocated agent first in the currently live in the Alpha Vault. So Alpha Agent is kind of like a portfolio manager and a risk manager in digital economy. So it sits at the main vault level and it monitors, it takes in the TVL and makes a decision how much of that TVL it's going to put in each of the sub vaults that has distinctively different diversifying strategies. So right now, Alpha Vault has 2 sub vault and 2 curators. One sub vault is the Lido strategy vault. It's a leveraged looping strategy and curated by Mello, who happens to also be our vault infra provider. So they've seen a lot of different strategies in their time of building Mello core vault, right? And the second is the Chorus One MEV Max. So this is using like OS ETH and deploying into the Aave ecosystem. They use a different strategy, also with ETH as a core and the base asset. We're trying to use at least those 2 vaults to really perfect the allocated agent capabilities. And over time, in Q1, we're going to add a 3rd vault, and that will be the hedged LP vault managed by agent. And that's something that we're putting a lot of effort to.
I think it's honestly kind of hilarious that the first industries to get innovated by AI are these like white collar jobs, like
Hedge funds
lawyers,
managers
hedge fund
taking
managers,
2 and 20,
financial
just
advisors. Like this robo advisor is going to be so much smarter, so much safer,
so much better.
so much better than
Zero
any financial
biases as
advisors.
well.
And all of the tokenized funds are going to be the tools by which these robo advisors are going to offer their customers.
It's insane. It's insane.
So it's like you
it's
gotta be
like-
like in
It's about time.
2035, you've got to be like you've got to have some like artistic talent and be like a singer, songwriter, dancer, or you've got to be a plumber. Like there's no white collar jobs that are left.
I'm glad we didn't choose financial advising as our category of choice for the career, all of us here. Not there's anything wrong with it, but yeah, Coinbase just rolled out their advisor product on their announcement on Wednesday, and that thing is going to outperform and really be there in that kind of assistant AI fashion. Guys, let's get into some of the prediction markets that we have for models, for AI training, etc. We'll be right back. Quick break, and we'll bring these up on the screen for you. Talk the AI models, main best model, and a couple of. Let's go to a quick standby, guys, and we'll be right back.
Hibachi is fast and private perps trading, secured by ZK with Celestia underneath. Go to hibachi.xyz to start trading today.
Not your keys, not your coins. From the team that pioneered cold storage, Trezor has just released its new wallet. Guys, if you are still using hot wallets in 2025, 2026, you are missing the entire point. Secure your coins. Get a Trezor at trezor.io.
Yeet is built for big moments. The most fun you'll ever have with your crypto. Go to yeet.com to yeet into your next game.
There we go. Alrighty, guys. AI year in review. Here we go with some of the prediction markets. Rob, best AI at the end of 2025 from our partners at Kalshi. Right now, Gemini is absolutely crushing it. 92% chance of being the winner because of their Gemini 3 Pro launch. Grok is 6%, ChatGPT is 3%, $15 million of volume on this market. Guys, I must say, I spent most of my year using ChatGPT 5 when they launched it. Since then, before that, it was kind of a mix. I've been using Notebook LM on Google and Gemini Notes. Gemini Notes are incredible, better than Fireflies for calls, the Google Doc, like the Google integration here for Gemini, plus this new model for videos and images is insane. Gemini 3 Pro, if you can see on Kalshi, right at about August, September, you saw how Gemini just started to fly. You see the second half of this chart. You see in September down below, Gemini is the green one. It went kind of like parabolic run from about 50% all the way to 90% where it is now, starting in about August. And that's very much aligned with the Gemini 3 Pro launch. Guys, what's your take? Pei, Rob, what do you guys think here? Is this right? Is Kalshi right? Are the people putting their money on this right? How do you guys think about this? What is your favorite model? What's the best AI at the end of the year?
I think like this looks it looks right to me, because from a personal experience, we use AI a lot of work, and not only just for product development and back testing, but also communication, marketing, and personal messaging posting, right? Like instantly you realize, like, after using ChatGPT for quite a long time, and then you see the Grok, and then you experience Gemini. Gemini is like kind of like by far the best of all, like just overall experience and overall output. Because I constantly compare the outcomes across all three of them. I would say occasionally I go to Grok. I like the sense of humor that Grok has, like the others don't. It just has like that, like Elon Musk footprint there. It's very funny. And so like if I want a good joke, or when I say like, please mixing something like a funny joke in there, I go to Grok. But Gemini consistently, I think, better above than others. Robbie, I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, I primarily use ChatGPT as my main driver because it kind of had the first mover advantage in my own technology, and it had some, like, it just took up real estate on my phone, and then I just went to it, and I had that behavior just baked in. I think what's interesting about these markets is that I actually looked a little bit deeper into this, and the way in which they resolve which model is the best is according to this website called LM Arena. And so what you can do is you can put in a prompt into LM Arena, and it is essentially a roll up or an aggregator of all of these models. And then you choose which model you think gave you the better response. So it has this mode called battle. You put in a prompt and then it gives you two responses for each prompt and you pick which one. And so what this means, but when you say best AI, is that according to this website, more people are choosing the response from Gemini than any other model. And I think this is what we're going to see. I can even anticipate, like in Theoriq, you have robo advisors using different models and they're competing for your business and for your capital. And I think this is the schematic that we're going to see a lot more of. Personally, I like to use Gemini for any kind of deep research. If I know that there's something that I want to do, like just one back and forth, like one cycle, I want to ask one question, I want to get one answer, like search something I would normally Google. I use ChatGPT for that. Anything that I know, I would probably click multiple links. I would probably check multiple sources. That's when I go into Gemini and I do a little bit of deeper research. But I do like Grok too, because Grok, I do find myself pressing the little button at the top of people's tweets just to
the
learn a little
context
bit more about
searching is super
the context
clutch.
searching on Twitter
Yes.
is where I like to use Grok.
Completely agree. Rob, I think you're actually spot on. And Pei, this probably is very applicable to how you guys are thinking about adoption from Theoriq's perspective, which is ChatGPT, the app was on my phone, Rob, as you said early, and it was just there now. And it was like I was speaking to it. Great. Notebook LM got on my phone. Grok got into Twitter and just click the click. And so it's like, if there was an AI Grok, for example, let's say a Theoriq agent model that has their automated agent stuff, if that was in Rabby Wallet and I just could click it and like talk to it and use it, that distribution integration is like incredibly useful because I mean obviously, right, there's for obvious reasons there, but like I think, Rob, like it would be funny to actually ask that website LM Arena which model it thinks will like be the best at the end of the year, and watch it kind of have different models show their biases if they think they're the best or if they think somebody else is the best. And anyway,
I'll do that now and let's check back in at the end of the show.
Pei, anything to add there on what Rob and I just kind of said there?
Yeah, I think it makes a ton of sense. I mean, I want to comment on what you just said about the distribution and kind of baking into the stickiness of
platform.
user behavior platform, right? Obviously, there are two products we're talking about here now. Since TGE, we have THQ is actually a product, right? Like we need to now think about the stakeholders for that token itself. But then on the other side, Alpha Vault where the agents and AI is used a ton, and we want to push to the real human users and attract TVL, continue to build on top of the 24 million that we currently have. We want to surpass 100, want to go to next. The more strategies you deploy, the more TVL you need.
Yep.
All of that stuff, right? So we definitely, right now, we are foundable, I guess, like accessible through like our own UI, but also Mellow front end, where yield hunters can go to Mellow, look for all the vaults, they'll see us. There's Turtle Club, who is our TVL Bootstrap partner. So they have a liquidity dashboard for us. They have the campaign for the TVL, where you can see more of the points, kind of how everything's calculated and the accumulative yield, so to speak, like not only the ETH yield, but also others. I think we need to do more. I think we need to get on all the dashboards for vaults. We need to get into the apps that live in people's phones, right? So the Phantom, the MetaMask, all the other Coinbase wallet.
Definitely.
We're in the base ecosystem, right? So we need to be in that app.
Yep.
So the app will be naturally coming.
And that's
next
where I
level
think
with
Gemini is winning. Like, sorry to just cut you off there about like the app thing, but you just like spurred me off where it's like Gemini has a really good model, and like the Gemini 3 Pro that they just launched is great. But once again, on Google Docs, it's there. On Google Meets, it's there. On on Gmail, it's there. On Sheets, it's there. It's just like, it's just there. And it's so deeply integrated into Google's stack, right? In this example, in your example, in the Theoriq stack. And it's like, it's just there. And it's so useful because I guess like the big thing here, Rob, is this kind of concept of this MCP evolution too. It's this cross multi-platform kind of like API calls that is really great. So it's like for Pei, it's like, can Theoriq's agent work across one chain, one app, and another app on a separate chain, or X, Y, and Z, right? In Google, it's like Notes, Sheets, Meet. It's kind of like this multi-platform, multi-use case approach that is making these AIs better than others, in my opinion.
But I think that's why the word for 2025 in AI is integrated. Like that is, at least for the second half of 2025, because that is what I'm finding myself use AI this way. The native integrations, I think, is where we tend to go. I use Grok on X. I use Gemini on Google Docs and Google Chrome and Gmail. And then ChatGPT, I do think, has started to take on search. I think Google was late to the party in integrating Gemini into Google. And so it became more useful to use ChatGPT, especially on voice mode. That's how I like to use it, and use it as my search modals. So I do think now that these LLMs are getting integrated into social media and browsers, that is going to be the moat. And it's really an extension of their existing product suite. So in order for Grok to get more distribution, and distribution and activity is going to be what separates the performance of these models, because the more data that they have and the more prompts that they get, the better trained they are. So I think Grok as a model is dependent on how successful Twitter is in gaining more social media market share. And Gemini as a model is dependent on the existing Google product suite. And these things are going to start to diverge. I think right now they're very, very similar in their models, but because they're being trained on very different data, I think they're going to ultimately become more niche and optimized for those use cases.
Yeah, love it. Love it. All right, guys, let's move to the next one and the last one, the second and the last image to talk about here for the AI year in review 2025 is which AI company will have the best coding model on January 1st, 2026. Now, guys, as you can see here, when the distribution part of the equation, when the multi-asset, the multi-platform, multi-functionality kind of concept is stripped away from different platforms and distribution and get directly down to coding, Mr. Sama is in the lead. 85% say Sama, 16% say Anthropic, 3% say Google. Guys, I have not really used much of these coding models, Rob, Pei. I'm not sure if you guys do a ton, but how would you guys rank this? Is this right? 85% OpenAI? Are they just that much better at coding than Claude and Anthropic? Are they just that much better?
Pei may have more than I do on this. I did type this into the notebook, or excuse me, the LM Arena battle mode, and it's pretty clear that each of these are talking their own book. It gives you two. It gives you assistant A and assistant B. It gives you two different responses. Assistant B says, clearly Claude 3.5 Sonnet is the best. The other one says, GitHub Copilot if you're already using VS Code. For more powerful general purpose coding, no IDE integration needed. Sign up for GPT-4 via OpenAI. So there's definitely a sense of competition.
Dude, that's so funny that they're biased.
They're absolutely biased. They're talking their own book. Pei, what do you think?
Pei, do you use coding agents? Yeah.
I mean, we're just one of the many companies that heavily use AI, right, in day-to-days and research and product development. I can vouch for Claude being kind of the primary Claude from Anthropic. So I guess Anthropic in this case. But yeah, I'm not sure the number, but like Anthropic definitely stands out as
on
the
the
one
coding side.
Correct. Coding, back testing, reasoning, training. It's the mostly I've been hearing the most from my engineering team, research team, right? So I know that they're using it heavily for developing Alpha Swarm and different models and thinking about the trading strategies and back testing the outcome, the yield, and all of that. Yeah, I feel like pretty strongly about that.
Interesting.
I'm sure, yeah, OpenAI is like overall in the rapid prototyping and coding is probably still mostly used or heavily used.
Looking for yield that stands out? InfiniFi gives you just that. Deposit stablecoins and earn far more than the current savings rate. InfiniFi is a battle-tested, reliable DeFi platform that is ready to go. Head to infinifi.xyz.
Halliday is unified crypto payments. Give your users more wherever they are. Go to halliday.xyz to never write a smart contract again.
Trade on anything: economics, weather, sports, crypto, and more. All on Kalshi.com 24/7 for the world's biggest prediction market. Isn't it kind of an interesting phenomenon where your engineering team at Theoriq is going to be using these OpenAI, Anthropic, primarily, as you said, models to help code, and then what they're trying to code and create is another separate AI model agent. It's like AI inception. It's like, what's going on here? Like, we're using the LLM to create another LLM, but it's very specific use case type of one. It's really interesting, isn't it? It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, we're entering a agentic economy, right?
Yeah, on both
Agent-
sides, like a full
agent-driven,
loop.
yes. Yeah.
There's no 401k over at Theoriq. You use Theoriq to manage your 401k.
Yeah. And Theoriq's 401k management tool is brought to you by whoever trained Anthropic, and how good obviously their engineers are, and everyone's has engineering work. It's not like just, press a button and things built. But obviously, I mean, let's just say if we're gonna make predictions about kind of on the same train of thought around like the jobs and the Amazon and the drones, you ought to think junior engineering roles and the idea of doing a comp sci major in university has diminished significantly.
Oh, I would push back on that.
Okay.
I would say,
Let's talk about it.
Look, AI is a calculator. Like, you don't see like less mathematicians and statisticians and computer scientists and all these STEM oriented careers diminish as a result of a more powerful calculator being created. Go back to like the printing press. Did you think, our authors and journalists and writers were going to go out of business? No, it actually gave them more tools and a more powerful means of distribution. And I think that's what's happening.
I think we have a fellow math major in the crowd here, Pei. I'm not going to say who it is, a math and philosophy major here from the University of Florida, who's really upset that his math major is not really worth it. He can just ask AI anything at any time. Like,
Yeah,
why do I need a math major?
I use my math degree every day as a podcast host.
Hey, what do you think about junior engineering roles going forward? How do you see coding evolve with AI in 2026? And honestly, I think it'd be cool to get your perspective too, more specifically on some of these Solidity and EVM-based programming coding agents, which are really firmly able to now do smart contract development, white hat exploiting, if you will, white hat vulnerability searching, etc. How do you see the evolution of programming with regards to the broad scope, and then in crypto native land as well going forward?
So I think I still see the great need for smart contract developers, and talking about the human ones, not the agents. We need them because, like, I think because this space is evolving so fast, there's always integrations with each other. There's nuances. There's edge cases to test. Like, you just can't predict what kind of plumbing and smart contract level integration will involve, and then what kind of scenarios, and we're creating new use cases as we move forward, right? As an industry in general. So I do think we're desperate, looking for smart contract developers. I'm not gonna lie, we're looking for strategists, and we're looking for all the technical talents as we kind of move forward as a project. But I think, like junior engineers, I think will enter the market with a very different outlook, and they need to understand that their strength needs to be a combined, how to work with AI and work with AI tooling, right? So meaning, like, you got to be good at like vibe coding, because it kind of improves your efficiency and your speed of turnaround of the tasks. But it still needs someone. You're not going to ask someone in marketing major to do engineering work because it's like now it's so trivial. You still want someone have the background of coding, background understanding how to audit and how to interpret codes, and being able to capture the hackable like areas, like look for the bugs, right? That is still very much needed. And I think a math background is very, very relevant in this world. Like, as we move forward, everything is kind of algo driven and math tied right? It's going to become a lot more numbers relevant versus like content driven and all of that. So yeah, I mean,
Insane.
the job market will be very different, but you need to be able to do the job, but with like an AI in the back of your mind, basically know how to use them to accelerate your work.
Pei Chen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on today. What a week for you guys at Theoriq. Fun conversation today. This has been an incredible year in AI as well. Guys, it's AI Supercycle episode 14 signing off here. Pei, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, everyone.
All right, guys, we'll be right back. Quick standby.
Thanks, Pei.
We'll say bye and get our 2025 year in review tokenization segment up next. See you guys in a sec.
See you.